So, welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Mark McNulty, president of Action Coach Bluegrass. And today I have Paula Blankenship, who is the CEO and founder of Heirloom Traditions Paint, as my guest. We're going to be talking about her business, her journey to business ownership, and the challenges that can come along with, building and operating your own business. Now, If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notifications every time a new interview is posted. So Paula, welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, Mark. I'm excited to talk with you. And of course, hopefully your guests listening can get something out of this today and maybe inspire them in their entrepreneurial journey, as they're just like myself. They need all the inspo they can get, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, we all do. So tell us a little bit about Heirloom Traditions Paint and, your background and how this all came about.
Well, I'm glad to do that. First of all, being not native to Louisville, Kentucky, I think it's important to say how I ended up here. I actually heard about this great city and Trinity High School, and I had a teenage son that was getting ready to go into the 9th grade. And on a blind date, someone told me about Trinity High School, believe it or not, as a single mother. And I researched it online. I enrolled him in the school, and lo and behold, here we are today. And that was several years ago. And now, about 12 years into owning this business, my son is a graduate of the University of Kentucky as well. So I took a Tennessee Vol fan and converted him over to a Kentucky fan. It wasn't easy to do, but here we are. But all of that being said, I was an entrepreneur probably from early childhood. My sister and I sold everything from Blair cosmetics to shoes to whatever on the street. Our mother was owned a furniture store. My grandparents were in the restaurant business. So I grew up in a world full of entrepreneurial people, and the word no didn't enter our vocabulary. I would say, hey, we want to set up a lemonade stand in front of your furniture store on Saturday. And she'd say, okay, well, I'll get a table out there and you all make up the cookies and whatever. And my sister and I, probably at 7 and 8 years old, would start baking cookies. And I don't know who ate them, but people did. But we loved to make money, and that was what we thought was fun. So that is exactly who I am today, just a little older version of that. But I started this business for my son to get some of that excitement that I thought was so wonderful to have had, and parents that supported us in that. So I started this business in the kitchen and never dreaming that it would ultimately become my own reality. And I thought it was something he and I, because he was a little ill at me over bringing him from his hometown up here to this school, I thought this will keep him busy. This will keep us doing something that we can do together. And I just picked paint as kind of the catalyst for what we were going to do. And we were really going to paint furniture and sell it on a website was my real original plan. But it turned out it didn't work out quite that way. Sometimes what you think is going to be the plan, it's called iterate. And that's exactly what I do still today. I kind of zig and I zag. So that was the very first zig and zag in the business. I had an idea and thought that was what we were doing. And I started out creating a color card. And I'm no designer at that moment, didn't even have a program to even create something digitally, but I created a color card with a Microsoft disk that I had, and posted it on a Facebook page. And from that, someone asked me a question, was this paint? That was going to be the colors. I was going to paint all this furniture my son and I were going to do. And that was kind of, like I said, the early concept of the business. And posted that color card. Someone asked me about it, and she said, is this paint? And a lady from my hometown, and I answered her, yes, with a question mark, I guess. But that set me off on the journey to actually create a product. And I reached out to some folks here locally, Lanning Chemical, if y'all know Lanning Technical or Lanning Chemicals, Lanning Paint, I think is their real name here in Louisville. Reached out to them. They ultimately created a paint for me. And I used social media and Facebook as a teaching mechanism to engage people and to teach them. It's something that I look back at now and I go, wow, the first piece that I ever painted and posted on my Facebook page, this was the infancy of Facebook. Remember, there was no video. It was simply photos. And people asked me when I painted my dining room table and chairs, people said, how did you do that? As a question. I was like, aren't they familiar with paint? So I say that to even encourage you out here. You think that the world is full of competition, that there's no room for you, and that maybe your idea is not unique enough. So I can tell you back from those old first thoughts, are you not familiar with a paintbrush? Just because I thought that was probably a very old school thing. And people asked me about painting my dining table as if they had never even heard of painting furniture with paint. So I was a little set back by that. And I thought, well, maybe they just hadn't had a mother like me. Maybe I'm just lucky. And that's all true. But I thought if that one person asked me that, multiple people began to ask me the very same question. And as I continued on making the product, I continued showing more examples of that and posted my products on eBay for the first time. So I thought, well, here's a way that I can reach the world on eBay. I'd always been an eBay lover and still do today, but I thought if I could just post these photos on there, that would be an instant website for me. And it would sell 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So maybe that would work. So I did that, created my own little post and put that up there. And I asked people in the post, in the copy, would they like to become a retailer? And so that began me wholesaling the product right there. But you can't do that any longer, but you used to be able to put that in there, put your email address and all of that. Now, of course, they hide all that, but thank goodness it worked at that moment. And my goal was to sell $100 a day in paint. And I thought, well, that'll cover the nut, give my son a little money. This is something we're doing for fun. Obviously, I was, again, never dreaming. This was my own journey and the culmination of all my failures in life. So again, set out to continue on. I just continued to put one foot in front of the other. And of course, the business on eBay started to get great reviews, and I never, ever looked at those reviews. I was afraid to look. I thought, wow, I'm afraid to even see what they're saying. Let me just hope it's for the best. They're still buying. So one of the first pain points I had was I was doing all this out of my home. And I thought, if I'm going to just keep letting this mail lady pick these boxes up here every day. And finally, she said, you have too many boxes. You're going to have to carry that to the post office because you're filling up my truck. So that was the very first start that it was either now or never. I had to then think, okay, I can't keep doing this from home. I've got to really take a real proactive step here. So I went out and leased or rented a building out in the trade center. Oh, I'm going to forget the name of it, Jefferson Trade Center, and rented a flex space there with a little office in the front, and of course the warehouse in the back, and a roll-up door and a dock, and started there. And I remember moving in there thinking, what am I doing? There's nothing in this building except me. I'd pick my son up in the afternoon. So I had a guy build me some big wooden tables, and they were nice height, so it wasn't bending over. So there I stood filling up paint cans all day with my son when I'd pick him up at 3, and we'd work several hours, and then we'd go home. And this building again was empty. So it just began there. And 8 months into it, that building wouldn't hold us. So we moved, and that set off a journey of moving 6 times. And in that last 12 years, we're here now, and probably be about 150,000 square feet here in Taylorsville in the next few months. We're building just bought the building behind us. Of course, we built 4 large buildings here, including a retail store and a studio where I am today. And then building a 30,000 square foot production facility right now on our place here. So with all that said, that was a lot of time crammed into that little moment there. But I will say this, if you believe it and you dream it, and you can take one step at a time and have a North Star, know what you're kind of walking toward, not that that won't change, because it will. And if you can dream it and you can see it in your mind's eye, you can achieve it. And that I can promise you. I knew nothing about the internet. I knew nothing about creating a website, although I did create our first website. I packed every box. I put on every label. I filled every can with paint. I did every single promotion. Did it all, spoke to every customer, and shipped every box. So I look back and I go, how in the world did I do that? And I think it was definitely a mission, and it was maybe now I kind of see all of it tying together, and I go, wow, this has been some sort of an amazing something that was guiding this bigger than me. So that is some of the things that are happening to me today. It is kind of mind-boggling to see all of these things become full circle moments for us in this business, but it's been pretty miraculous. So today we are the 23rd largest paint company in North America, and we're just ranked by the paint and coatings industry as that, and we're probably the largest online seller of paint direct to the consumer in the country. So all that said, I don't want to brag about all of that. I'm just telling you, if you can dream it. I was 50 years old when I started this business, and I'm 61 today. And you can do it. You can do it with the internet and what access we have today to being able to be public facing just by turning on your phone. Nothing stops you. That's free. You can turn that on any day. And our business was 100% built on organic reach and teaching people how to use our products and educating them that there were other methods out there without hiring a professional. They could do it themselves. And our product has evolved, as well as how we go to market, all of those things. Of course, Amazon being another gateway for reaching the globe. And as we scale this business, that's exactly where we are. We're scaling through Amazon, of course, our own website. And we don't sell wholesale. We only now sell direct to the people who use our products. So I'm very proud of that. And even though I come from an old school retail family, it was very hard for me to change my mindset about that. We started off selling products wholesale to mom and pops, and I began to see that that was getting harder and harder because most people were closing and they didn't work regular hours and they were working their own hours. And I had my business setting prey to that. Through the holidays, everybody close up. I still had a staff I had to go out and pay or lay them off. So I was like, I've got to figure out something here. This doesn't work for me. I can never get out of being bankrupt here. So I had to figure out, what did I need to fix? And I had to say, what would I do? And the answer was in my phone in my hand, where I had an e-commerce 24/7 business right there in my hand. So that's what I did. I embraced the internet. So I'm a firm believer in the old internet. And as we know, those who don't, the Amazon train has already rolled over them anyway. So,
Right. Yep. So,
right.
yeah. So in 12 years, you've gone from, your kitchen counter
Yeah.
to, a massive, facility in Taylorsville. How many employees do you currently have now?
58 today.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you went from being wear every single hat in the business to now you've got a team wearing a lot of the hats. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about, now as your, CEO, what's your role today? How do you spend your time today?
Well, I still wear a fair amount of hats, but you learn as you go. I won't say you wake up and you know how to be the CEO of the company. Your responsibilities change, of course. A lot of people dream that being the CEO gives you some of the liberties and pleasures that are making life easier for you. But I'm here to tell you that's very untrue. If you run your own business, you already know all the crap rolls downhill to me. So any of the high level things that can't be solved otherwise roll to me. And it's kind of like a doctor. You don't see people who are healthy most of the time. You see people that are unhealthy. So it sounds great, but you really are dealing with the hardest piece of the business. So, and I don't mind doing that. A lot of hard conversations have to come, and lots of things you have to do that aren't necessarily fun, and things you look forward to. But that is part of being a productive business and trying to stay on top of the business and, run the business. So all that said, I also like to look at I don't like to continue to stay down on the ground. You have to, as a CEO, get up in the tree and look down at the business and see the higher level needs of the trajectory of your business. If you are still packing boxes and you're still down in the trenches, you can't see where the business needs to go. So I try to remove myself from the day in and the daily grind of the business. Not that I don't know every aspect that's happening, but I try to remove myself. I can look down at the business and see what's hurting, what's needing my assistance, what are the opportunities that we're not seeing, what are we so engrossed in these things that we're not seeing the bigger picture here. What could we be tomorrow if we could dream larger than we're dreaming today? So that's the piece I'm trying to get out in front of the business and see what's out there that we've not even discovered yet. And I try to look online and look at other businesses that are similar to mine. I look at different mentors, different people who have walked a similar path, and see what they've done, how they've scaled their business, and see if those things, are there things there that maybe I can have a takeaway from and gain some knowledge from. So I read a lot, and I try to think of our business from every tier, from the raw materials moving into our plant until the finished package out the door. where can we streamline, where can we get smarter, where can we cut costs? All of those things fall back to me. And of course, I have some people in my team that are able to look at those things with me, but I'm the delegator of all things.
Okay.
Start with me.
So, you'd mentioned, there's competition, but not really. But, you've grown from, like I said, kitchen table to one of the largest in North America. So what is it that makes you different? What is it that makes you stand out?
Well, there is
that
competition,
allows that
but
to happen?
well, you would be definitely be remiss and definitely be blindsided to think I don't have competition, because I am sure somebody's out there looking at everything we're doing and trying to figure out how they can do it better, because that's what everybody does. It's in business. I would like to think that ask me that question again. Tell me the simplicity of that again. What was your thrust here?
So why Heirloom Traditions Paint versus anybody else? What makes your
There you go. Sorry.
approach
What makes us
stand out?
different? I think what's really made us different is simplifying the messaging and trying to remove the confusion. And other brands out there, I'll just give you the quick digested version. All the big brands out there that you're familiar with, from Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, Rust-Oleum, whoever they are, they have created multiple brand names and multiple product divisions, basically all the same product, just in a different can, in a different label. And so when the customer has to try to digest that, all of a sudden they don't feel like that, just tires their brain. There's kitchen cabinet paint, there's bathroom cabinet paint, there's cabinet paint and trim paint. There's wall paint with a sheen, there's flat, there's all of this whole thing of that. We just said, hey, you know what? Let's erase all that. Let's put one product out there that does it all. And let's simplify that messaging, so I don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out how to paint these cabinets or paint my furniture, whatever. We've also done that with the cleaning, because people also didn't know how to clean properly, or did they need to sand, and do they need to do all these things? Of course, our product has been first and foremost, it is a unique property product. It has a very advanced resin in it. I took years developing this with a Dow chemist. So this is not something I cooked up in my kitchen, by the way. The all-in-one paint product has been developed and is always under development. And we're always looking at ways to improve the product, to improve everything about the product, how it brushes out, how it looks, how the customer's experience is with the product. So we have 3 chemists on staff, and they're always looking at improvements in our product. And we constantly are looking at technology in the resin side of our business, in TiO2, which is the paint and the fillers in the product. Any of those things that we can get that are in advancements. Of course, we want to embrace that, because we are selling our product as the highest and the easiest and the best possible product that you can put on your cabinet. So we want to live up to that. So we also teach the customer how to use our product, and that's where our competitors have failed. And it would be hard for them to go back and teach one simple methodology for using Sherwin-Williams, because they have so many products and so many different prep methods and sanding and clear coats and top coats. We don't have that. We have really simplified the messaging there, and also with color. We only have 36 colors. Most people have 36,000 colors. We have 36, and they're 36 of the greatest colors. So we've kind of digested all of these things, and we've also given them great paint tools. We have a lot of IP on a lot of our painting tools. We have different products that help you make your countertop look like it's been painted to look like marble and granite. Those things are not out there. That's the IP that we have, that I have several patents on. And that is kind of who we are. We're trying to make it easy for the homeowner to take the power of that brush and put it in their hand.
So it sounds like you've mastered 2 of the skills that all business owners need to master. One, make it be easy to buy from.
Sure.
And make it easy for the purchasers of your product to use your product.
Yep.
Through education.
That's so true. So just imagine yourself. I try to always imagine myself as a shopper, how I'm looking at the website and how I'm looking at our competition. Just go to Lowe's today, or go to Home Depot, and just stand and look at the paint counter and see who approaches the paint counter, and just hear the questions or the line of questions that the customer asks the person behind the counter. And there's your answer. There's so much confusion, and there's the person generally behind the counter has no answer. So they leave more probably confused than they were when they went there to begin with. So I used to go there on the daily and stand and listen and watch, even to our products. We got our products into Do It Best hardware and quickly put the products out at some stores here, some Do It Best stores here in Louisville, and got to go watch our own display fail. And that was a great learning experience for me. That was before we had the product called All-in-One Paint. That was when we had a chalk type paint, which was my first entree into retail. Was a layered product that took a lot of steps. And that's where I really learned that I needed to go back to the drawing board, create something that didn't require all of this steps and layers and teaching and all that. So I made the All-in-One Paint with this chemist. And it was the greatest thing probably that I could have ever done, because now I own that brand, allinOnePaint.com. And that URL is hugely important to us too, because everybody uses that term today to try to drive traffic to their own pages. And it just drives it to me, which is nice.
So you've built this team. So tell me a little bit about, how you went about building your team, not just the people, in the manufacturing process, but the management, leadership throughout, throughout your team. Because to be successful, right, we need to put all that people infrastructure in place.
Sure. You do.
Share a little bit about your philosophy and approach there.
Well, when you first start something, you don't have the team. There is not the team mentality. Of course, my husband quickly came on to help us, and this was not his forte either. He was in the insurance and big insurance. He was an executive in the insurance business, but just so happened that his team was let go, and him too. So he just happened to come right into the business, not because he wanted to, but it's just how it worked out. Meant to be, I do believe. But he and I both tried to stumble our way through YouTube and create videos. And it's kind of funny looking back at some of that now today, but we had no idea what we were doing, but we did it anyway. We still jumped right out there like we did. And the team began, just like I said, with he and I and my son. Then we put his son to work, and we hired one of our son's friends. So it started out with kids and we just needed bodies to help us at that point. But then later we hired someone that we met through someone that was next to us in one of the suites we were in, to help us do payroll and those things. And she's began to come up in the business with us and been a very pivotal part of our business and our growth here. And she's also learned along the way too. And we couldn't afford her when we hired her, but we made it work. And that's how it is. You just have to struggle and hire people as you can, and you try to hire people who wear lots of hats. And then as the business grows, then you become a little more able to hire specialists. But right now, you come up to that $5 million point. That's when you can then, after you get to the $5 million point, then you can start hiring some specialists. But in the beginning, you don't hire specialists, you hire generalists who wear all the hats. But then here comes the specialists. They'll get people a little more in the channel of what you need them to do and specialize in what you need to happen. So of course, finding eyeballs, that's what we're always after, finding more people to educate them about our products. So that's been the big driver in our business, is how do we find people? Of course, we've gone to social media for that. And of course, then we retarget our audience through ads. And then we also use our email to send out emails to generate our customers who love us. And that's been a great avenue for us as well. And we also use Facebook and a private group that we have started there. We have about 500,000 users there that help us to educate other people about our products. So it's kind of a whole network of things. And all of that in unison has kind of happened. It evolved. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't go out and say, hey, I'm going to hire a CFO or I'm going to hire a something. It just kind of happened. It was never something I could have ever said, hey, I can afford to hire X. That didn't happen. We just kind of slowly morphed into that.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about how would you describe your leadership style today?
as a leader, how would I describe me? Boy, that's a hard one. That's some self-introspection there. I think I am a bit of a perfectionist. I have a vision of how I want this brand to look and feel. And I'm not saying we're always there, but I have to let go of some of that because you can't stifle the brand by trying to over delegate. I think you have to just let it be. And again, it will morph into better and better as people and your teams get better at those things, from everything from graphics to whatever we're putting out there content wise. But you can't expect perfection. And I don't expect it, but I want us to meet a standard that I have in my mind. And we're getting there. But it doesn't happen overnight. Again, I can't go out and hire the finest marketing team in the world to start pitching our products. I could today, but I wouldn't want to do that today. I want to continue where we are. We try to meet customers where they are. I believe that we have made people believe on the internet, particularly Pinterest and Instagram, that people live in a perfect home. And they don't. We want to show customers in truth. We don't want to show heavily edited images and doctored up photos of people's home. We show them how they are. We show customers projects and let people see the before and the after as they share them with us. We share them ourselves. And we don't try to say, well, that's not good enough to be on our Instagram page. That lady doesn't have a fine enough home. We don't do that. We show, again, we meet customers where they are. So that's who our customer base is. It's the average American living in this country that's using our product to update their home. So that's how we want to talk to them, and how they live is how we want to actually share our imagery in that same way. So, but all of those things don't happen overnight. As you learn, you grow, you discover things about your brand that don't look great. You fix that. It's a never ending thing. It's not it's done and fixed today. It's a constant fix of the website and of the graphics and of the needs, and all those things are not static. They are always moving.
Okay. So look in your crystal ball 5 years out. Where's Heirloom Traditions 5 years from now?
What boy, you're asking me. I'll be an old maid by then, or old woman should. I don't mean that. But I don't ever see me retiring, but I'm sure I will at some point. And just who knows when that is. I'm hoping it's farther away than I believe. But 5 years from now, we are right now currently setting up a brand new production facility here that is state of the art, filling lines that are state of the art. Everything, the way we handle our products, the way we move it through the channel. I really see us as a huge component of the paint and home improvement industry in the very short future. So just stay tuned. I hope I get there, so y'all know if I miss it, that I said it right here. But I really believe you'll see us 5X and where we sit today.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground, from startup to where you're at now, and all the different ways you did. In the retail world, people say retail is tough, and it is. And what the things you talked about, going to Lowe's and watching how people buy paint, and that's how, that's just brilliant. But it's one of those obvious, yet simple and brilliant, and not enough people do that. Just that alone is worth the 30 minutes of listening to what we're going to have when we're done here. So
you can't read it in a book, but you can sure go watch it.
I made a note. I made a note there. It's like, tell all of my retailers to go do this tomorrow.
Go study it. Watch the consumer.
Yeah. And so that's brilliant. So got a couple, just the last few questions here. Just a quick, first answer off the top of your head, to wrap us up. So what do you think has been your key to success?
Oh, it's hard to beat me down. I don't take no for an answer. First of all, I am one of those, you tell me no, I'm going to see 5 ways around that. So, it's hard to also knock the wind out of me. I am one of those people, I'm going to come back with a vengeance. So I failed a lot, but I just look at that. Those failures are just words. That's just me categorizing that as a failure because I know the world does. But I look at those as little stumbling blocks that taught me how to be a tiger. Also, I like to look at it like this. I'm at an age to where that my list of wants is a lot different than it used to be. So I am gambling and still pushing all my chips in the middle and rolling the big dice right now for someone, my husband and I at this age, and gambling on the future again. But we're an ESOP also. So when I'm gambling, I'm also gambling for this group of folks here that are owners. And they can't gamble without me because right now I'm 51% of the owner of this business. So I'm the one with my money and my livelihood at risk, and they're not risking their money. I'm risking my money. So I've got to make this a win. So I look at it like this. Right now, there is nothing going to stop me because I've got it all on the line, not just for me, but for them too. They may not even realize that, but um, at the end of the day, it's going to be phenomenal for them. So
Awesome.
I already
So
live a good life. I don't want to say that, I live a good life. I have everything I want, but I, those want lists are a lot different at 61 than they used to be at 26, let's say. But you have to have a different reason to get out of the bed and to want to do this at this age. Something else has to be your North Star, and it has to be a bigger picture than just yourself and your own needs. So that's it for me. Creating something that will live on. This is a legacy for me. So,
all right, awesome. So what's one piece of advice you would give to other business owners, entrepreneurs?
believe yourself, believe in if you truly have a heart to do something and you are thinking about it constantly and there's self-doubt in you, put one foot in front of the other, find that goal you're trying to shoot for and do it. Start walking it. I went to a conference over in Lexington, and it was, I went into a couple of the breakout sessions and just listened. And it was so discouraging for me because it was a group of people who were there to learn, and all they're doing is research, more, read a book, read another, research. Yeah, I never researched a dang thing, and nor did I ever write a business plan. Heaven forgive me. And I wouldn't. It's just a bunch of garblegook in my mind. The way business plan to me is action. You can't read about this. If you really love to do something, start it. Start it in the back of your truck, whatever. Get out and hustle. That's what it's about. It's not about reading and business plans and talking the talk and listening to another breakout session about how we're going to do it. What it takes is action, and it's not in a book. It's actually going out and putting the boots on the ground and making it happen. And you're going to fail tons of times, but just keep figuring out what you did wrong there and fix it and do it again, do it again, do it again. And eventually it will turn into something. So that's my word of advice. Do something. Don't read a book about it.
All right. So is there a book you're reading or a podcast you listen to that you would recommend to others?
Nope. I hate to say that. I would tell you right now, I don't read a lot of books. I do read a lot of articles, and I do read a lot of business journals and so on, but I do not read books. And, the Entrepreneur of the Year award here, the one that I recently had received here and from Ernst & Young, asked me that very same question. That's a question they ask all the entrepreneurs that enter into this competition is, who do you follow? And my answer, of course, is I don't really follow any other entrepreneurs. I've never read an entrepreneurial book. And they ask why. And here's mine. That is not my journey. I'm not on their journey. They're going to have 1,000 other pitfalls that I'll never see. And I've got 1,000 they'll never see. So why do I want to get discouraged or whatever? I'm doing me, and I'm going to walk this walk myself, because every single day is all dependent on what I do, not what someone else did, but what I do today is going to project my future. And that was funny. They said in the end of that interview that every one of the entrepreneurs that asked that question say the exact same thing, that very few of them were reading other entrepreneurial books. I thought that was a good thing. Glad I answered it that way. But that was nice to know. We all fit in that mold, I guess. We're forging our own path.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to choose one area of your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would it be?
Wow. If I could just snap my fingers and get everybody on the same page every day, that we could just have this line of communication, that everybody understood their role and what they play in that. And I think, well, I'm just going to go get this platform and this platform, and then people won't open it. It's just, how do you get everybody when you're trying to communicate? The bigger your group gets and the more hierarchy that you have, the harder it is to administer any kind of a program, because one person heard it one way, one person heard it another way. How do you delegate? So if I could simplify everything I wanted to do at this level, it would just make it really easy. You do this, you do this, you do this. Collectively, we get here. That's the hard part. The bigger you get, the harder that is to do. So that I've learned recently.
All right, awesome. All right, so before I ask you the very last question, how do people find you? How do people find you?
Oh,
How do you find your products, and where do we send them?
well, if you want to find me personally, you can find me on LinkedIn. Of course, I have a LinkedIn profile under the Paula Blankenship at Camcoat Heirloom Traditions. You can find me there. But if you want to find me on Facebook, of course, we're all at facebook.com/allinOnePaint.com. Go find us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you go, YouTube, we're everywhere, and TikTok, and allinOnePaint.com. And you can get a free sample of our product there if you want to go there, and we'll send you one and our color card, and you can try this product yourself and make your own decision.
Okay, awesome. I want to make sure everybody knows how to find your products online and just
Thank you.
learn more about the company and the product. So
Yep.
great.
Thank you.
All right, so last question of the day. What inspires you the most right now?
Ooh, I read that you were asking me that question. I had to give that some real thought. What inspires me the most? What fuels me the most is to realize that time is what I have the least of. And if I'm going to do all the things I've got to do, time is of essence. So that inspires me to think I've got a very short window here, and just age, particularly at this age, I realize my window is smaller than most that are in this entrepreneurial journey, or not all, but most. And whatever I'm going to do, I've got to get on the stick to get it done. So that's an inspiration to me, that whatever I'm doing, it has to be pretty timely. So that's a big thing I've always got in my head. And I do. I roll pretty quick. If everybody that knows me knows, that is my golden charm right there. I take steps before I'm even ready, maybe right off a cliff, but I always know where we're headed. So I'm a fast mover.
Kind of a ready, fire, aim.
Exactly. My husband thinks that's a negative, but I see it as my biggest asset.
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times that's your strength.
That is my strength, 100%.
So awesome. Well, listeners, this has been Paula Blankenship, who is the CEO and founder of Heirloom Traditions Paint, the all-in-one paint company. Started in her kitchen as a project with her son and built it into one of the top paint companies in the nation, and Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award winner. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Paula.
Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. Hope you all have enjoyed it and have a great takeaway, something there that inspired you.
So everybody, bookmark this one, watch it twice, take notes, and then, as Paula would say, then do something with your notes.
Absolutely.
She taught a lot. Don't think you need to think about it some more. Take what she learned and start applying and learning and reapplying and reapplying and reapplying. Is that fair?
Exactly. Iterate. Yep.
All right. Thank you so much. This has been the Business Spotlight series with Action Coach Mark McNulty and Paula Blankenship. And thank you again. And we'll see you all on the next interview. Bye for now.
Bye.